I'm Jeff with OldsPwr, and today we're going to talk about and kick this thing off a little bit. I've been kind of talking about building this project here for a little bit, and I've been doing a lot of brainstorming, trying to figure out what it is that we're going to do with this thing. Well, I think I finally came up with a plan. Big goal is here, getting this thing back on the road. To start off with, I guess we'll just talk about the car a little bit. So this car, it's a 1970 442 Oldsmobile. It's been in my family since 2005. It's a 1970. My dad, he's been building and working on Oldsmobiles for about, I think he used to drag race back in the 70s. So he's been building and tuning on these things for many, many decades. I'm a second gen Oldsmobile fanatic. This is just another project for us. So I'm sure you'll probably get to know him a little bit along the way. I'm thinking this is probably going to be roughly about 20 episodes long, approximately, unless things change, we add stuff, whatever, or we just simply can't get our hands on parts. That's about the only way that this is going to be changing. So a little bit more history on this car. Like I said, we picked it up in about 2005, and this car has been to multiple Oldsmobile Nationals. Pretty much almost all the ones it's been to, it's gotten like a best of class national car show winner for Oldsmobiles. The project here, I've kind of came up with like a 3-stage process. We're also going to be throwing into the mix, we're going to be putting this thing on fuel injection. So it's going to get a Holley Terminator X Max system. It's going to be getting a 480E and a 4500 stalls. So that converter is from PTC. It is designed so I can lock up the engine to the trans at 1:1. So we can get some data on the dyno with each one of these projects. And we can also take it to the racetrack and get some data off of that too. So our dyno meal that we're going to be building on this, it's 490 cubes, roughly. What we're going to do is we're going to take a stock 455 block. It's an F block if it matters to you, if you're familiar with the Oldsmobile world. And what we're going to do with that is we are going to put a set of Splate 4-bolt main caps from Performance Driven Design on there. We are going to offset grind the crankshaft. We are going to put a set of kind of more of a budget-oriented rod. So what we're doing is we're doing kind of like we're not trying to put a lot of money into the short block because it's a very good chance that this thing could ultimately blow up. So we don't really know what's going to happen with it. I have a pretty good idea. I've been building these things for a long time. I know what it takes to make them live, and I'm going to kind of walk you guys through that process. The pistons in this thing is going to be another budget-minded item. I've done a bunch of math, and I figured out that we are going to run a 455 Pontiac Icon piston in this thing. The compression height just happens to fit and suit what we're going to do. So the project here, like I said, it's going to have 4-bolt splayed caps from Performance Driven Design. We are going to be doing a factory nodular iron crankshaft that has been offset ground to a 4400 stroke. That's going to be done by a Mile High crankshaft. After they are finished with that process, they are going to nitride the crank. So that piece is in process right now. It's going to be something that we work on for a little while. Like I said, we're still in the middle of doing all the machine process on the block. So that's kind of the gist of the 490 cubic inch foundational piece for this build. So that's when we get into our 3-step process here. We are going to be drilling the deck for the block for 1/2 inch stud. So the first piece of this thing, with this same engine, the 490 cubic inch engine, we are going to be doing a hydraulic flat tappet camshaft It is a Comp 305H. That cam has been proven for a long time. It's been something that my dad used to race with back in, even back in the 80s. So he's ran that thing on the street as well as at the track. It's a good comparable, kind of like a average Joe type camshaft. It's relatively inexpensive. You're not gonna wrap a whole bunch of money in that setup, it being a hydraulic flat tappet. And then the cylinder heads, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cast iron C head. Those of you familiar with the Oldsmobile world, the C head is probably arguably one of the best flowing factory cast iron heads. That particular cylinder head, I chose that because I had a set. And this car being a 70, it just happened to have those on there from the factory. So I always kind of want to have a backup plan in case if, my racing projects kind of go to the wayside and I decide I want to put this car back on the street again. Well, or if I want to sell it or something along the lines of that. So I always had intentions on building this C head setup, this very mild combination. But I thought, just because I have all these other items for what I used to use when I was racing, I can show you guys all kinds of really cool stuff. We can take you from the average Joe build all the way up to a full-blown race setup. So the next step of that is what we're going to do after I'm going to port that set of C heads. I'm going to put a big set of valves in that set of C heads. We're going to run a beehive spring on it along with that Comp 305H, and then we are going to run this Speedmaster intake. This Speedmaster intake, about the only thing that I've done to this thing is I just kind of cleaned up the plenum area on that. I got a couple of videos I'm going to show you about that. I've been kind of prepping for this series for a little bit already, and we are going to be running this one with a carburetor. We're going to be running a 750 CFM Holley on it, and that combination is going to be just your budget-minded setup. It does have injector bosses on it if we ever decide that we get a wild hair and we want to put fuel injection on that particular intake. We have that opportunity to do so. I don't intend to because stage 2 kind of, hate to be a spoiler, but stage 2 is going to have the Holley Terminator X and everything like that on there. It'll be running multi-port fuel injection because that's a lot more serious combo. We have a stage 1.5 build that I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that Comp 305H and I'm going to take this set of cylinder heads that is on this 468. These feature a raised intake manifold runner setup that I have done. It kind of looks similar to an LS Cathedral. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to show it to you. So this combo, this set of heads on that 490 cubic inch engine is going to be roughly around 13 to 1. So we can either run it on race gas or we can put some E85 in it. I haven't really quite decided which route we're going to go with it. My plan is to, like I said, I'm going to do some dyno testing as well as I intend to take these things to the track after each stage of these builds, okay? As long as everything is mechanically okay, I'm not going to go intentionally blow this thing up. That's not what I'm out to do. I want to show people a real world apples to oranges progression through this entire thing here. So this combination, the intake manifold on it runs this massive 4500 Dominator AccuFab throttle body. This thing here flows around 2300 CFM, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's going to have plenty of airflow to keep this thing fed. The intake manifold on this thing has been modified to match the cylinder heads. They have that Cathedral runner design, and then as you can tell, this started out as a supersonic. It's an Offenhauser supersonic. This plenum has been modified extensively. I opened everything up. and I've blended and transitioned this thing and radiused it as good as I possibly can. There might be a little bit more work in it, but we're pretty much there. This combination on that head, or that intake on that set of heads, it's also going to have a solid roller camshaft. My plan is to do like a stage 1.5, which is basically going to have the hydraulic flat tappet camshaft on this set of heads with this intake manifold. Then after that, we're going to swap to the bigger camshaft with this intake manifold. That will be stage 2. So there'll be a stage 1, a stage 1.5, and a stage 2. Okay? So then we are going to get to a little bit more serious of a combination. This one has been in the works for a very long time. I've been working on this project now off and on for about 3 years. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be running a set of Mondello Knowlton cylinder heads, and I'm going to go grab those real quick. So this combination right here is a Knowlton cylinder head for an Oldsmobile. It's an oval port design, and roughly this casting can support upwards of 900 horsepower. So all these different combinations, each one of them individually, like I said, we're going to find out what you can do with each piece of this. You know, the first step, I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere in, you know, about the 360 to 380 horsepower range at the wheels, and then it's progressively going to be going up from there. My goal is to get this thing up over 600 to the tire with that 408E and a 12 volt, if not more. It may just be, may really surprise us. That set of Knowlton cylinder heads, the motor is going to be roughly around 14-to-1 compression. So not only are we stepping up the combination here from basically running a 91 octane pump gas in stage 1, stage 1.5 is going to be switching it over to either E85 or we're going to run race gas in it. I haven't really quite decided yet. We could probably go either way. It would probably be the upper limit of gasoline as far as your usual everyday 91 octane pump gas. So we could also see kind of where it's going to go. I could put a knock sensor in the engine, and we can just kind of see whether it likes it or not. I don't know. We'll just have to play around with that detail as we get into the tuning process when we're on the dyno. So after we've done all that, like I say, we're going to switch to the full-blown race package on that very same 490-inch short block. And like I said, it's going to be about 14-to-1 compression. And that combination, it may get real serious. It may be somewhere upwards of, you know, 800-900 horsepower, which to me, that's, for Oldsmobile, that's serious business. So especially when you're talking all motor in a performance with under 500 cubic inches. I mean, you're talking in excess of 2 horsepower per cubic inch. So, I mean, that's definitely race motor territory, no matter how you want to look at that. I know in the world of turbos, nitrous, and blowers, you know, 900 horsepower isn't that much. But when you're talking a motor that can do that at the, you know, the flick of a switch anytime you want to, it's serious business. I mean, a 900 horsepower in a vehicle is probably capabilities running probably in the ballpark of like a basement 9/2 quarter with a full-blown streetcar trim that's in the mid 3,000 pound range. So it's going to be a pretty serious setup no matter how you go about it. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of really badass stuff going on. I'm really looking forward to it, just simply getting this thing on the road again. It's been a long time coming. I can't thank you guys enough. Hopefully you guys like, share, subscribe, and follow along with this crazy journey that I decided I'm going to put myself through. Like I said, this is probably going to be somewhere in the ballpark of the next 6 to 8 months, so don't get in a big hurry here, but I'll try to do regular updates and try to keep you guys updated as often as possible. So I'll take a few minutes, I'll show you guys some of these things very closely, and just kind of show you guys around the shop a little bit. We'll get familiar with each other. I'm a little rusty at this. I haven't been in front of a camera for a long time, so please bear with me. I'll do my best to progressively get better as we go. I'm not a seasoned YouTuber like some people are, but I do feel like this is a pretty badass project that probably should be documented, and I think a lot of you guys will really enjoy it and see the results firsthand, that type of an approach. So I guess as far as something that I like, as far as the kind of format, I'm going to try to do it kind of like Engine Masters did. I'm going to try to give you guys like a brief rundown of what it is that we're doing for the day, and then I'm going to try to get everything set up so I can show you guys firsthand what it is. So that's kind of my goals with this project. So hopefully you like it.